What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing? I know it's been a while since I made a video, but today I wanted to put together a video for you guys because first of all, this is going to be super special. I know a lot of you guys probably saw earlier that Babe graduated today. I know, it's so amazing. I'm so proud of him. And it took a little convincing, but I convinced him if he could do a Q&A with me so he could kind of share a little bit of his journey. He's not the type to say much while he's in a journey, no matter what that is, especially when it came to school. He didn't really tell a lot of people that he was going to school, but this has been years in the making. And finally the day has come where he's achieved this. So I wanted to do a short Q&A with him so he could tell us a piece of his journey. So I'm going to get with him right now and ask him a few questions. Maybe this could inspire some of you. Alright guys, so this is Babe. You guys have probably seen me post about him over the years, but probably never really heard from him. So tonight we're going to hear from him that what that took for him to achieve this goal of graduating college. So one of the first questions I want to ask is, tell us about what it was like when you first came to this country about 20 years ago. Or just first state your name and then go into that.
My name is Kofivi, known as a Babe. Okay. Came in this country 20 years ago. July we will make it 20 years officially. And came here to go to school and pursue the American dream.
And what did that mean for you, as far as the American dream? In your mind, what was that?
I was go to school, get a good job and build a family, own a house and continue.
Okay, good. And what was, one of your first jobs when you first came into the country?
Sold a newspaper.
You were selling newspapers?
Yes, in Manhattan.
In Manhattan, okay. So did you start school like right away when you got in the country 20 years ago?
A couple months later, yes.
Okay. What were you studying?
Computer science.
Computer science, okay. So after that, did you continue working and going to school, or what was that like?
I was working and going to school. However, it became a little bit tough, so I had to drop, let school go for a while. And then I got back in a groove, but then I switched my major from computer science to nursing.
To nursing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you came in the country almost 20 years ago. You started off doing computer science. That was your major at school. And this was at the same time you were selling newspapers, right?
No, it was after I stopped selling newspaper. Then I moved to Jersey. That's when I started my school. However, I was working in New York. I live in Jersey. I was going to school in Jersey.
Wow. So you were balancing working out of state, then also going to school. What was that like? I mean, tell me a little bit about what that journey was like with working and going to school.
I mean, on the beginning, it was kind of fun because, we just got into a different country, learning about new culture. But however, going through school, the beginning of school is pretty decent. But once you start having the workload and manage that with a full-time work, it was becoming a very hefty weight to lift.
So you said you had to pause with school in order to focus working.
Yes.
So how long after did you decide to go back to school to pursue nursing?
Almost 8-9 years.
Wow. So what made you want to go back into nursing?
I mean, talking to people around, advice, and where I can make a better living. That's what pushed me from the computer science major into nursing.
Okay. So when you were pursuing nursing, you now had a family, right?
Yes.
And you were still working. So what was one of the biggest sacrifices you had to make while balancing family, work, going to school? What was a sacrifice you had to make?
I had to pause on pretty much my life because doing two jobs, balancing life between two jobs and a family of 6 and school was not easy going. So something needed to be, put on pause. So pretty much no fun, just keep head down and do whatever is good for the family.
Mm. Okay, wow. So that was, you said, a sacrifice where you had to kind of pause on fun and put your life on hold. What were some of the sacrifices, like what were some of the fun things that you needed to put to the side for that season?
I mean, pretty much, what I do to relax because going to school full time, working a full time job, and coming home to be a full time family parent. I didn't really have time to really do what I used to love doing, either like playing video game or go out for a game with friends. I had to put all that in pause.
Hmm. And do you think that sacrifice is part of the journey to major success?
Absolutely.
Yeah. um, okay, so you pursued nursing, you made a lot of sacrifices along the way, and then you ended up having to pause with school again.
Yes.
Tell us about that journey.
2 years, okay, starting before that, I joined the National Guard. So 2 years ago, we were deployed. So I had to pause on my school to go on deployment. However, once we were there, because of the field that we were in, I fell back in love with the computer or the IT world again. So once when I came back, I called my counselor, told her that, you know, I don't really have any passion for nursing again. So I want to switch from nursing to either computer security or computer engineering. If there's a way she can help me do that.
Hmm. And that was when you got home from deployment.
Yes.
Can you tell everyone how long you were deployed?
18 months.
18 months. I know that, I can go into a lot of questions about the deployment, and that could be a whole video in itself. But, what was that like? Just briefly, what was that like, being away from your family for so long? And, what was that like, being away from your family for so long?
It was tough, but however, the way I put it was an eye opening because I took a time to learn about myself, see what I really like, and what I can do to pursue it. Because at the end of the day, if I cannot make myself happy, I will not be able to make people around me happy because that's the way life goes.
Okay, so now, you came back from deployment and you said you contacted your advisor, right? You came back in February. When did you contact your advisor? Do you remember?
March, May.
March.
May. I contacted her after we came back from vacation from Florida.
Okay, so maybe like April?
Okay, end of April, March.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay, so you came back from deployment in February, right?
Yes.
When did you decide that you wanted to go back to school, and you said you contacted your advisor?
Yes.
So when was that?
I contacted her end of April.
End of April.
Yes.
Because I know we went on vacation in March. You came back and you said, you know what? It's time. I've had some time to relax and, recoup from being away from for so long. So you said it's time to get back into that grinding mode.
Yes. Yeah, because I wanted to make sure that I have everything set up before end of summer, so that way fall start, I'm able to get back and start continue school so I can finish my degree.
Mm-hmm. And so you said you contacted your advisor. What was your thinking? How much time did you think you had left to finish with school?
At least a semester to two.
1 to 2 semesters.
Yes.
Okay. So when you contacted her, how did that conversation go?
I contacted her. I explained to her that coming back, I'm not really in love with nursing anymore. However, I would like to switch and do some IT field. When I was going to school for nursing, I major in nursing and minor in general science. So I told her I wanted to finish my general science. However, in the same process, continue and get a degree in technology field.
Mm-hmm. And then what did she say?
She forwarded me to one of the counselor in the field that will be able to help me switch, see what I need to finish my general science associate and then continue in the IT field.
Okay. So speaking to that person that she referred you to, how did that conversation go? Like, what did she do to help you?
She sent an email to the guy, so asked me to look for his answer, and the email that I received from the guy saying I do not need to do anything extra because all my requirement to finish my associates for general science was done almost 2 years ago before I even left for deployment.
Wow. So technically, while you were deployed, you had already finished college and you didn't even know.
Yes.
You could have already had graduated before you had left for deployment.
Yes.
Technically.
Mm-hmm.
But you had no idea. You just found out in May, pretty much early May, that you were going to be graduating in June.
Yes.
Wow. I know you and I, were reflecting on this entire journey and just the shock, the disbelief that came from the fact that all of that hard work now paid off, where you thought you still had 2 semesters to go, which would have took up a lot more sacrifice, more time, more energy, but God, what did God say? Can you tell us, first of all, your connection with God and how you have found miracles to come from this blessing here?
I mean, I came from a family of believers. My mom raised us as a Christian Catholic. So, from a young age, we were taught and we had the faith that, everything you do, you ask God, is always there to support you and to give you what you need at the right time.
Okay, wow. Whew, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot. Okay, I know some of you watching this video right now are just like mind blown at the fact that he was technically already due to graduate but had no idea. Now tell me, because I know as we were reflecting on this earlier again, you said something to me as far as, imagine that advisor was lazy in her work or didn't do her due diligence to make sure, she could have been lazy, or I think it was a guy. Was it the guy that did it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could have been lazy in, following up with you or looking into everything, right? So tell me a little bit about what you said as far as that.
I mean, as far as that, I say, not really in that aspect, but in my own perspective, saying that have I not asked the right question, I could have just left that associate there and switch my major, and I will never know that I had an associate that I can put my name on, or yes, I mean.
Okay. Whew. And the last thing I want to touch base on, you said something too as far as being 2 feet from the goal. So bring us home with what you meant when you were reflecting and thought of that, because I know you're so big on personal development. You read a lot of books. You've been growing for the past like 7 years, and you heard the term 2 feet from the goal while reading a book once, right? So you discovered that in this journey of you finishing college, you realized you were 2 feet from the goal. So explain to us what that meant to you.
It meant that regardless of what happened and what you're going through, we need to ask the right question and always willing and putting every effort possible to finishing what we started. Because have I not asked the question, like I said earlier, asked the question my advisor, what can I do to finish my minor? I could have just switched completely and leave that associate on the side, which was like 2 feet from a goal, because going forward and asking that question allowed them to go through everything I've done and let me know that no, that was accomplished already. I don't have to do anything extra to get the associate.
Wow. What was the driving force for you when you were going to college and you kept putting it on pause a few times because of just life happening? You decided to keep getting back in the game. What was the driving force for that? What was your why, technically?
My main why was my mother, because every time I spoke to her, she is 70 years plus, but every time I'm talking to her, she's always and working to still provide for her 3 children who are 40 years and over. And I always ask myself, if that lady, a 70-year-old, can still wake up and think about her children, what is the excuse that I'm going to give myself and let her know that I wasn't able to accomplish just a school or get a certificate from the school? So that was one of my main driving force, and also to show my children that when you start something, you always have to finish it.
You make me proud. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. This has been an amazing journey, and we've taken a lot of time to reflect on all of God's blessings, the miracles that He continues to pour into us. And every day we give our best, we work so hard, and it just showed, especially with this situation, that all of that hard work, it didn't go in vain. And I know that a lot of times life happens, we may want to put things down for a second, but you never gave up, and I'm proud of you. I know so many people are just so inspired by us and our journey, and I want you to leave any last comments that you want to wrap this video up with.
Yes, I mean, I would like to thank everybody that support us, especially my wife, because I know I'm not a big person. I don't have a big presence on Facebook, and she's the one that put our life there, and she's the one that tracked us. I would like to thank everybody for the support, and I hope my story or our family story gives the hope to somebody out there that once you start something and you have a strong why, there's always a possibility to finish it.
All right. Thank you, babe, for sharing your journey. And I hope that our story, like he says, has inspired someone out there. And yeah, chase your dreams and never do this alone. Always know that God is by your side. So we love you all, and thank you for watching this video.
Thank you, guys.